5 disturbing true Halloween season horror stories. I've had this on my computer for a while, but I figured, now is the best time to react to it because it's almost October, even though Halloween is canceled, but it doesn't really matter because I haven't done anything on Halloween in 8 years, something like that. It's been a while, but yeah, this is short, it's like 14 minutes. So disturbing shit always happens on Halloween. Your senses are heightened, so you don't get kidnapped and raped or murdered. Everything is you're on caution. Everything you're on high alert, I should say. So you feel like you think you see things because you like, wait a minute. This is a time of year where the veil between our realm and the spirit world is at its thinnest, so they can come over and fuck with. Oh, I don't believe in it. But anyway, let's see what Halloween stories these people. I don't really have too many Halloween like horror stories. I remember when I wasn't a kid. Well, I was young. I wasn't a kid. I was like 14 or something. I remember I went with my friend and we took his brother and I think his cousin or something trick or treating. They were much younger than we were, and I remember someone was like, I don't know if they were following us, but I kept seeing it because I recognized the costume. And they were just like standing there. It was like a kind of like a zombie kind of looking costume with like a gray zombie mask. And I remember they was like just standing there, but it wasn't like an adult. It looked like a kid, unless it was a short person, but it looked like it was, like I said, like a child, like average height for like a little kid. And they kept just seeing them when we go house to house with them when they were trick or treating, and he was just standing there, and I was like, what the fuck? I was like, they following us? And then in my head, I'm like, and plus, I was like 14. I might have been 15. No, I was 14. I was 14. Yeah, I think I was turning 15 that year, but I was 14, and I was like, oh, that person. Let's like kick that little kid's ass if they they come up to me, but I didn't check this, make sure I was recording. I am recording, but yeah, that was I remember that, but it was it was a well lit street and people was walking all over the place on that street, so it wasn't like any real dark places or anything like that. So, and I didn't feel, like I said, it looked like a little kid. I was like, kick this kid's ass, but it was unsettling. And then when we got done, we went to a friend of ours' house on the other block. I didn't see the kid anymore. So, but I've never had any real like horror stories for like Halloween, anything like that. But anyway, anywho, let's get into this. All right, here we go.
And stared at the man.
Oh, this is
When he
Nightmare
saw me,
File.
he yelled
Oh yeah, I'm
through
gonna
the door,
put the
asking if I
original
found my
video
shooter yet.
in the description, a
I
link
yelled
to it,
back,
so
telling
you
him
can
that I
check
called my
out his
neighbor
channel.
to come and help carry the pack.
Nightmare Files. Nightmare Files. Look at that kid's dead eyes. That was scary. Pennywise, the actual clown. I like that beat.
I grew up in a very small town in Montana. During Halloween one year, my brother and I sold lemonade by the side of the road because it was unusually hot that year. We didn't make a lot of money, but we did have a lot of fun selling lemonade to people who were passing by. So my brother and I were standing at our lemonade stand when we noticed an old rusty car pass by us 2 or 3 times.
I figured some of these stories gonna have to deal with
Eventually, the car slowed
pedophiles.
down and stopped right in front of the stand.
Pedophiles, as they say
There
across
was a
the
woman in
pond.
the passenger seat, and she rolled her window down. I saw she was really skinny with gray hair, and it was stained and silky.
A fucked up smile.
It looked like it was nasty, honestly. I couldn't see the man who was driving very well because he never looked at me. He just stared straight ahead. Both of them seemed very odd, and their clothes were old and dirty. The lady smiled. "You boys out here selling lemonade all by yourselves?"
Well, look like, bitch.
"Yeah, my mom lets us," I replied. "Is your mom home?"
Ooh, that's kind of a scary street. I've walked down streets that look like this. Where it look like everything is either abandoned or just closed.
He nodded.
I didn't even see that, like somebody was sitting on the curb.
The woman turned back to me and said, "Okay, I'll have some lemonade." "That'll be 25 cents, I said as I poured her glass. She rummaged around.
It's normally 25 cents, but it's $1 for you, bitch.
Then she pulled out a $5 bill and held it to me. A chill went down my spine. Why was she handing me a $5 bill if she had coins in her purse? Something just didn't feel right.
Because she wanted that young
So I lied
booty
and said I don't have any change. She said, "You can keep the change. Just come and take the $5. Something felt very wrong, but $5 was a lot to me at the time. I walked up to the car and reached out to take
I remember
the
$5 was a lot to me too, my friend.
As soon as my fingers touched it, the woman suddenly grabbed me by my wrist and began pulling me into the car.
And then I suddenly started punching her in the face.
My brother ran to the house yelling for help. The man floored the accelerator,
Whoa.
And the car lurched forward. I fought with all my might and managed to wrench myself free from her grasp. The car stopped, and the man got out, but I was already running for my life. My brother was pounding on the door and screaming. My mother rushed out and turned just in time to see the rusty old car speeding away. We told my mom what had happened, and she called the police.
Dun, dun, dun.
When my brother and I calmed down and went back to the lemonade stand, there was a $5 bill lying on the ground. We packed up the lemonade stand and put it away for good.
Wow. People always be just fucking with kids like that. You just fuck the kids like life up, like just fuck up his mind. But I guess now he'd be more cautious.
2018. I love Halloween more than most. As a child, I loved it. As an adult, even more. In 2015, I started to go trick-or-treating again in my neighborhood. As a short adult, and using a concealing costume, I'm a woman. I was able to do it year after year without incident, until 2018.
Thanks for pointing that out.
That year, I used my favorite costume, a homemade zombie outfit with a skull mask. For the record, by this time I was over 30, but trick-or-treating was fun for me.
Oh, I thought you were going to say I had a sexy zombie outfit.
Anyway, I've been out for over 2 hours going house to house, getting lots of goodies. By this time, I was sweating pretty heavily, forcing me to pause and dry under my mask occasionally. Soon I rounded a street corner and passed a man walking 2 dogs. The street was clear, and many houses were unlit. I took a few steps forward and paused. Suddenly, standing in a house's pathway was an old lady. Where exactly did she come from? She wasn't there before. She looked to be in her mid-70s, with white hair, a sweater, a skirt, low-heeled shoes.
These roads are always the best, the ones that don't have fucking sidewalks.
She said, "Hello,
in like
dear.
rural areas.
Are you out trick-or-treating?
Yeah, the fucking
Come with me and I'll get you some candy."
To walk on at night was like one light every 5 miles.
She chuckled warmly like I said something funny. "Nonsense. Come with me and we'll get you some candy, sweetie."
I'd be like, I'm a 30-year-old woman. Like, calm
down. As we walked
down.
together,
So I'm not falling for that.
My shoes made noise as we walked, while hers didn't make any noise. 2 houses down, she paused and said, "Go on, dear. I'll wait here for you." I did the trick-or-treat routine, then turned to thank her. I froze in shock.
She was gone.
The old woman was no longer standing there. There's no way she could have left without me.
Fucking ghost.
I asked the man in the doorway if he'd seen her. Puzzled, he asked, "Her? You came alone. There's no one with you." Confused, I said, "I must have been seeing things." I walked home wondering what had happened. After 10
then the
minutes,
man
I
was
stopped
like,
in my
"How old are
tracks
you?"
and chuckled to myself,
And I
saying to
snatched the
myself,
candy out of his hand and ran.
holy crap, I just saw a ghost.
And it goes back, man, what your old ass doing out here?
My name is Brent, and this happened when I was 11 years old, when I lived in a somewhat sketchy neighborhood. This took place on Halloween with a friend of mine named Carlos. Me and Carlos were best friends since the second
cut it out
grade.
with that whispering
There was
shit.
a 2-story house rumored to be haunted near us. We decided that it would be a good idea to test out the rumor, which had seemed obviously fake to us at the time, or so we thought it had been fake. We went trick-or-treating and then left our candy at my friend Carlos's house. It was close to midnight, which was the time we intended to be at the house, to make things a little scarier due to the fact that we love horror movies. It took us a while to get to the house, as it was a few houses away, and it was the second to the last house on the street. As we arrived at the house at around 11:56, me and my friend Carlos then thought it would be a good idea to trick-or-treat here, so we rung the doorbell. We laughed it out. With a hoodie and ripped jeans answered the door almost right away. My friend then mentioned the rumor of his house being haunted. He said,
"What the fuck are you two kids doing on my fucking door?
And he used
Don't fucking look at me when I'm talking to you."
Which was that he was a very messy and unorganized man. He
You're
then
all
said,
my
"You
eyes,
kids
you
are
little
almost a
wankers."
little late for Halloween. It's going to end in 2 minutes. It's almost 12 a.m. He said the candy was in the room and he offered us to come in.
Oh man, what the fuck?
Us being really anxious at the time took the offer to not be
basically
rude.
What he said. Us
sat in
being
the living
really
room on the
stupid
couch,
at the time.
waiting for the man
We took
as
the
he went
opportunity to
upstairs.
go in a fucking house, some stranger's
Carlos's mom
fucking
then
house.
texted him
Couple
to ask if
fucking
we were going
idiots.
to have a sleepover that night, which he replied with yes, as the man was coming back. He insisted on us going upstairs because he had Reese's, which was my favorite candy.
You have to come upstairs for the Reese's.
Being a pretty mindless 11-year-old, I took the offer.
Oh, well, they were 11.
As we went upstairs and into his hardly lit up room, it appeared as if the man collected knives. We saw it as a pretty cool hobby, and the man gave us each 2 Reese's chocolates. We then thanked the man. As we were going downstairs, my friend Carlos fell down the stairs screaming in pain. I turned around and the man was holding what appeared to be a red knife, which was probably one of the ones from his collection. My fight or flight was immediately activated and I punched the man in the face. He stabs my leg, but I managed to hold on in pain and knock him out with 5 punches. I take the knife out of my leg and start limping away holding Carlos, and we get out. I called the police and they arrest the man a while after he wakes up. The ambulance takes me and Carlos to the hospital. I was fine after 2 days, but Carlos was apparently stabbed twice in the back and was bleeding out. He took about a week or 2 in the hospital to recover. A while after getting out of the hospital, the police told us about the man's past. He was a registered sex offender. I never again went inside a stranger's house.
Why he stabbed you?
I fear what could have happened if I was not able to hold on in pain from being stabbed.
Man, you 11 years old and you knocked a grown man out with, he said, 4 punches or some shit?
On Halloween, when I was in the 4th grade, I stayed home sick from school. I was lying on the couch watching Hocus Pocus when I heard the doorbell ringing.
Good selection, my friend.
It was the postman. He told me I had a package to deliver, but it was so big that he needed me to help him carry it in. I don't know why, but I knew something wasn't right. Yeah. I didn't see his truck parked out front.
Post office people don't do that.
When I asked him where it was,
they like, we leaving this shit right here.
The corner. I asked him why the regular postman wasn't here.
Around the corner.
He said he was visiting family. He kept telling me to open the front door.
Around the corner, up your ass.
I said I was sick and I wasn't allowed to leave the house. I told him my parents would pick up the package from the post office, but he said that would be too much hassle, and told me my mom would want me to take the package now.
How you fuck you know my mom
I had to get my shoes first, and then I would come out and help him. Then I closed the front door, locked it, and ran to the back door and locked that one too. I called our neighbor, who was a close family friend, and begged her to come over to my house right now. Then I stood at the front window and stared at the man. When he saw me, he yelled through the door asking if I found my shoes yet. I yelled back, telling him that I called my neighbor to come and help carry the package because she was older and stronger. At that point, he just turned around and ran off. They never caught the guy, and I always wonder if he ever managed to trick some other kid.
I hope not. Yeah, just open the door and I'll carry it in there. It's too much of a hassle, bitch. I told you no. Fuck off.
Story took place about a year ago. Me and my 3 friends, Saul, Fernando, and AJ, decided to take a trip to Universal Studios for the yearly event, Halloween Horror Nights event.
That's fun. I've been there. That's fun.
So we got there in about 2 hours or so. When we got there, it was full of guests, but we managed to enjoy the rest of the day and got to go.
I don't know why I thought he would say it was full of assholes.
The theme park was set to close at 2 a.m., so we started heading back to our town. We took the ramp to the freeway and began our way back once again. I was so tired from walking all day, we were all falling asleep, except for my friend Fernando, of course. He was the driver. 1 hour on the road, and we decided to stop at a nearby Denny's off the freeway. We went inside, ordered food, and ate. It was all normal once again. A few guests were still eating too, and it was almost 3 a.m. We finished our meals, paid, and went out the door to the parking lot. As we stepped outside, I noticed a strange man standing next to a car across from ours. He just looked like he was staring blankly at us. From what I could see was that he was wearing a trench coat. As we were about to get into the car, the man started walking slowly toward us. And there I could notice a long scar across his face. Suddenly, my friend Saul asked the man, "Yo, did you lose something?" The stranger stood there
just
with
get
an
in the
evil
car.
smile and slowly started taking a knife out of his pocket. We all hurried back into the car and told our friend Fernando to floor it. As we were exiting the parking lot, I turned my head back and noticed that the guy was still standing there waving his knife at us. I'm just thankful that this story didn't end up worse, because God knows what plans that man had. Honestly, that was just a weird experience.
He just waving. He waving a knife like this. Like he's like you fucking crazy ass piece of shit. Seems like that person had a mental problem, and he just decided that I'm going to kill you in this parking lot because I want to, even though he knew he wasn't gonna get away with it. Well, I guess he could take off running, but that's not. It's not good to do something like that when you have a distinct, mark on your face. He said the guy had a scar across his face. So, but that was just complete insanity. That guy was clearly insane, and then like rushed him. He like walked up. I don't know if he was just bored, maybe just had to fuck with him, and like pull out a knife and just like pull it out, and they knowing they're gonna run away. Because they'd be stupid to like, we're gonna fight. You like this person has a knife. Unless you have a knife or a gun or some type of weapon, like don't be a tough guy. Just leave. But that other one, the one before that with the pedophile, like okay, they say he's a sex offender, right? Why did he just stab him? Like, because he's a registered sex offender, so why he didn't like try to assault them like sexually? He just stabbed one of them twice in the back. Like, unless he was gonna stab them, and then maybe he was a necrophiliac or something. He has sex with dead bodies. I don't know. Maybe he doing that and then have sex with them to immobilize them and then rape them. But the other part was unbelievable to me. I'm like, wait a minute, you said you were 11 and you knocked a grown man out with, well, he said 4 punches. I think he said 5 because he punched him once, and he punched him 4 more times, knocking him out. Like, so, and you were 11. Like, how big? Like, either this dude like has a glass jaw, I mean, like, not even glass. Like, his jaw is like a wet paper bag. Or you were very big for your size. Like, you must be like a giant or something. You like one of those kids, like, they're 11 and they almost 6 feet tall or some shit. Because, I mean, I had a growth spurt at 12, too. And, hell, by the time I was 14, I was 6'1". So, I mean, you can have, but like, that was still a big deal. When I was 11, I was small, I was short and skinny. Like, I was so skinny, well, pretty much all my like child life. Like, I was so skinny. I remember a teacher asked me, I think I was in the 3rd grade. She asked me to stay after class, and she was like, I just want to ask you, are your parents feeding you? And I was like, yeah, because I didn't understand what she was asking. I thought it was a weird question. And she was like, oh, she's like, oh, you're eating well, you're not, everything's fine at home and stuff. And I was like, yes. And I didn't even think like to really ask, like, why would you ask that? Because it just felt weird that she was asking me that. Plus, I ain't like being there with her, because I wanted to just leave. Because I don't like, especially when I was a kid, I don't like being in a classroom after the end of the bell ends at the end of the day. So I was like, I don't want to be at the school anymore. Like, I'm here in the morning until the afternoon, and then I leave. But yeah, I was like, what? I don't know why she asked that. And then later on, I figured, oh, it had to be because I was really skinny as a kid. So maybe that's what she was as like. I was like, yeah, that's how I eat. So if anything, I actually eat too much. My dad like tell me that you just ate like an hour ago. But yeah. So what was I don't even remember. There's so many. It was 5 stories. I can only remember like the last 2. Now I'm getting confused. I'm thinking about the stories that I told about that kid, like they were following me and my friend. Oh, anyway, I hope you all enjoyed my reaction. And if you did, make sure to hit that thumbs up button down below. Make sure to subscribe if you're new here. Hit that bell. You will be notified when I upload new videos. Comment down below. Share this video. And I'll see y'all next time. Peace.